It's been a few days, and I'm starting to feel a little bit stuck in my journey. I want to move forward, to make progress, but I find myself frozen. I tell myself and the world that I have clarity, that I see the path ahead, but the truth is bitter. When it comes down to making real decisions, taking real actions, I hesitate. Things have been quite hectic. The pressure is mental, I know, but there's still so much to get done. And yet, buried within this discomfort, I think, lies the key to something greater. The key to growth, to happiness, to transcendence, even. When the mind is still, fully aware of itself, the answers tend to reveal themselves. But I resist this discomfort for most of my waking hours. I seek convenience, and in doing so, I strip the beauty out of my life. And I feel we're all kind of guilty in this regard. We avoid uncertainty, distraction becomes our refuge. And we convince ourselves that we're too busy to sit with the weight of reality. 2 years ago, I committed to Julia Cameron's morning pages, 3 pages every morning. It was uncomfortable, but it changed me. I know I've drifted away from the practice, and I know why. It was hard, to be honest, but it was always worth it. I never regretted writing a single page because the purpose wasn't the outcome. It was simply to show up. So that's what I need more than anything right now. To show up, to sit with the discomfort, to ride through it, to move through it. In the last few days, I'm learning to listen to my own inner guru, turning inward instead of seeking guidance outside. I'm beginning to understand the importance of thinking for myself rather than relying on the ideas and opinions of others. They say there's no such thing as an original thought, only the perspectives we bring. But this mindset has a downside. It conditions us to echo what we hear, to regurgitate knowledge without letting it become wisdom. Now, repetition isn't the problem. Some ideas will inevitably overlap. But when they arise from our own experiences, from our own realizations, they carry weight. They give us agency. The ego despises boredom. If it doesn't find something to latch onto, it dives headfirst into a rabbit hole of thoughts. But the truth is, the dopamine hit we get from this endless mental chase isn't pleasurable at all. The real pleasure, however, lies in riding the waves of boredom. The ego is a trickster, a restless child, if you will, always scheming to get its way. But there's more satisfaction in watching the movements of your mind instead of chasing its illusions. Instead of following every thought, we can choose to be still, to keep quiet. And in that quiet, something deeper emerges. You see, I've chased a wide variety of pleasures, but most of them have left me feeling hollow, like filling up on fast food. Convenient pleasures are a symptom of decadent societies, where quality erodes as everything becomes more accessible. Human consciousness always longs for something sublime, the divine pleasure, the search for ekarasa, the one taste. But too often, we settle for distractions that leave us emptier than before. The only lasting pleasure that I've found is in contributing to the unfinished masterpiece of nature. Mother Nature is primal and nurturing, yet she too seeks completion. When we dedicate ourselves to creating something of true value, something that adds to her unfolding story, we align with her divine purpose. We are not here merely to take from her. She gives freely, for she is abundant. But she smiles when we create for her. Confusion is frightening. Clarity is peace. And nature, wild, unpredictable, and unfinished, is terrifying because it is full of the unknown. If you think about it, all masterpieces require active deliberation, an immense patience, a quieting of inner noise, and a cultivated presence of mind. To the average person devoid of artistic instinct, such work may seem vain, impractical. But history has shown time and time again that only those willing to tinker with the chaos of chthonic nature can truly contribute to its unfinished masterpiece. I like to think that we were brought into this world to create, to shape something and release it free from our egoic attachment. The creative act is magic. A key tenet of mastery is goalless practice, a principle I seem to have overlooked in my first reading of this book by George Leonard called Mastery. It seems that I was ignoring this fundamental truth about mastery, grasping at straws to escape the dreadful plateau. Now let's talk about the plateau for a little bit. The plateau is the long stretch of despair that occurs in the journey of mastery, after the beginner's luck fades away. No growth, no luck, no desire to carry on the task. The plateau feeds on your desire to make something happen, the desperation to get somewhere. Mastery, however, is not in chasing results. It is in surrendering to the practice itself. Mastery teaches you that where you want to be is not out there, but here. There are 3 types of people on the path to mastery. The first one is the dabbler, the second one is the obsessive, And the third one is the hacker. The dabbler is trapped by shiny object syndrome, always chasing novelty, eager to impress but quick to retreat at the first sign of the plateau. Carl Jung's puer aeternus, the eternal boy, Peter Pan, forever unwilling to grow. The second type, the obsessive, doesn't walk away as easily. But his resistance takes a different form. He fights the plateau with brute force, leaves in frustration, then returns vowing to conquer it. His journey is filled with surges of progress, followed by sharp declines, a jagged ride that inevitably leads to burnout. The hacker, on the other hand, learns just enough to get by. He plays the long game, staying on the plateau longer than anyone else, but never truly pushing beyond it. He does what is necessary to maintain his identity with the craft but avoids real depth. Many hackers are mistaken for masters, yet mastery is something that they never actually achieve. Now, looking at my own patterns, I see strong traces of the dabbler when it comes to acquiring new knowledge. I've chased countless disciplines: music, writing, designing, sports, only to abandon most of them when the plateau became too steep. It's strange. At first, I approach new fields with the intensity of a hacker, drinking from the fire hose, cutting the learning curve in half. But when I have no choice but to make something work, I become obsessively fixated. And in those moments, I push through the plateau with relentless force. Sometimes to the point of exhaustion. The pressure forces me into a tunnel vision drive that can both be a strength and a flaw. This idea of goalless practice is something that I want to embrace this year. In a way, it feels like revisiting my school years, the endless lessons throughout the year from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Back then, it felt tedious. Now it kind of feels rewarding. When Jigoro Kano, the founder of judo, lay on his deathbed, he gathered his students and asked to be buried in his white belt. The highest ranking judo master in his final moments chose the symbol of a beginner. Death humbles us all, just as life does again and again. No matter how far we go on the path of mastery, no matter our accomplishments, it always comes back to the willingness to remain a beginner. The question is, are you willing to wear your white belt?